4:12 a.m., August 14, 2025. In the pitch-black mountains of Durango, Mexico, a massive secret of the Sinaloa cartel is in motion. A billion-dollar fentanyl superlab buried underground, guarded by hundreds of heavily armed gunmen. This is not merely a drug facility. It is a machine of death, churning out millions of lethal doses bound for the United States. Once American intelligence uncovers its existence, a decision is made. The hammer must fall. But the question looms: how can a team of Navy SEALs and the U.S. Air Force infiltrate deep inside cartel strongholds, dismantle a fortified underground empire, and vanish in a single night? It is a lesson in fire and steel, a warning carved into the memory of every enemy of America. Above the ink-dark skies of southwestern Durango, an MQ-9 Reaper drone circles in silence, its infrared lens sweeping the rugged terrain. At first, the images show only scattered heat signatures, perhaps the fires of locals, until artificial intelligence sounds an alert. A convoy of trucks carrying industrial chemicals winds quietly into the Cayugas Valley, far from any legitimate trade routes. Within moments, the Pentagon satellites lock onto the target, feeding coordinates to JIATF South in Key West, Florida. On the monitors, the hidden truth emerges. A vast subterranean complex disguised as an agricultural warehouse, defended by armed patrols, machine guns mounted on trucks, and even Soviet-era anti-aircraft systems. This is no ordinary cartel outpost. It is the new heart of Los Chapitos, fueling a billion-dollar fentanyl pipeline into the United States. Inside the command center, silence grips the room as commanders weigh the risks. Can America strike on Mexican soil without igniting a diplomatic crisis? If they move, how can they ensure not a single gram of fentanyl reaches the streets? But if they hesitate, millions of deadly doses will flood across the border. The order comes down. Activate Operation Hammer. From Coronado, California, SEAL Team 6 mobilizes in secrecy, while from Whiteman Air Force Base AB-2 Spirit bomber lifts into the night, escorted by F-35s, as an RQ-170 Sentinel gathers intelligence overhead. Every defense of the Sinaloa stronghold is mapped. The guard rotations, the mines along the trails, the heavy weapons in the hills. The cartel believes their darkness, their mountains, and their brutality will shield them. But thousands of miles away, America has already marked their end. The steel hammer is rising, ready to strike. Their most prized asset lay hidden below. But above them, an invisible electronic warfare net had already been cast. Every satellite phone call, every radio transmission, every movement of cartel defenses fell under the unblinking gaze of American surveillance. That night, the operations map revealed 3 green arrows converging on the target. Alpha approaching from the north, Bravo landing helicopters less than 5 kilometers away, and Charlie waiting silently beneath the underground complex. Overhead, the RQ-170 Sentinel confirmed that cartel sentries had just changed shifts, leaving a 17-minute gap, enough for the SEALs to slip in, enough for Hammer to strike. In the command center in Florida, a calm but cold voice delivered the final words. Tonight, the hammer falls. At 2:41 a.m., the Durango Valley lay smothered in fog, pitch black and eerily still, the sound of rustling leaves carrying like distant war drums. The silence lasted only moments before it was broken by the shadow of an MH-60 Nighthawk helicopter sweeping low through the treetops, lights dark, doors open. Figures dressed in black uniforms slid down ropes, rifles raised, scanning with infrared sights. As their boots touched earth, Bravo spread out to secure the high ground around the outer camp. Across the valley, Alpha crept silently through the forest, closing on the perimeter, while deep below, Charlie prepared explosives to collapse the tunnels and seal the cartel's escape routes. By 2:47, the encirclement was complete. Then headlights slashed across the trees, a cartel pickup with a mounted heavy machine gun. The beam cut across a SEAL's silhouette, and within seconds tracer rounds ripped through the forest. An M4A1 replied in disciplined bursts, shattering the windshield and killing the engine as the truck skidded to a halt. The first exchange ignited the valley. Dozens of cartel gunmen leapt up, flashlights cutting through the dark, AK-47s spitting fire into the night. The battle erupted in full. SEALs moved like shadows, striking from both flanks. A flashbang detonated at a guard post, blinding and deafening sentries before they were subdued in seconds. To the east, Bravo unleashed an AT-4 rocket, vaporizing a fortified machine gun nest in a fiery blast. while Colombian mercenaries poured from the bunker, armored and carrying Gallo rifles, flanking and returning heavy fire. Shrapnel struck one SEAL, dropping him in the dirt before teammates dragged him to cover, patched the wound, and called for extraction. The firefight raged, muzzle flashes crisscrossing the valley. From above, the roar of an F-35 Lightning II whispered through the night. Guided by SEAL coordinates, it loosed 2 GBU-39 precision bombs onto ZU-23 anti-aircraft positions. Explosions tore across the ridgelines, fireballs consuming the defenses, and once again the skies belonged to the United States. At 3:12 a.m., Alpha reached the main bunker door, its steel frame disguised as a farm roof glowing bright in thermal sights. From inside, Cartel fighters unleashed a crude grenade launcher, explosions shaking the ground, showering the SEALs with dirt and steel fragments. In response, a shoulder-mounted weapon blasted the entrance, twisting the steel frame and choking the air with smoke and dust, priming the target for the hammer from above. At 3:20, high above, the B-2 Spirit of Arizona slid into position. In the Florida command bunker, a general confirmed the kill box. On the ground, SEALs held the perimeter, pinning the cartel inside. Desperate fighters fled down mountain trails only to be hunted by Black Hornet drones and cut down by MH-60 fire. There would be no escape. By 3:28, the outer defenses were cleared, the doors sealed, and the enemy forced into the mountain's depths where they believed themselves safe. SEAL Team 6 waited in the haze, weapons steady, night vision masks glowing as a voice crackled over the radio. Hold position, hammer drops in minutes. At 4:02 a.m., the Durango sky was black as oblivion. Below, the SEALs tightened their cordon around the twisted steel bunker, guarding the tons of fentanyl hidden inside. Above, the B-2 Spirit glided invisibly, its pilot confirming the coordinates one last time. The light turned green. The order from Florida came through. Drop the hammer. With a quiet motion, the bomb bay doors opened, releasing a 5,000-pound GBU-72 bunker buster. It sliced through the sky, penetrated deep into the mountain, and detonated. The earth convulsed as if struck by an earthquake. Trees shook, boulders cascaded down the slopes, and a massive fireball erupted from the bunker's core, black smoke pouring into the valley. The Sinaloa cartel's billion-dollar superlab, once a fortress of industry, was instantly transformed into a tomb. Shockwaves rippled through the SEALs on the ground, the air vibrating with a deafening roar that faded into a chilling silence. A voice came over the radio. Target down. No. Further words were necessary. Satellite images confirmed the devastation. Tunnels collapsed, the bunker crushed, survivors entombed with the chemicals and poison they once hoped would flood America. In the command center in Florida, the room sat silent as images streamed in, until a senior commander finally spoke. Hammer has dropped, and the aftermath, the valley was left in silence. No bunker deep enough and no wall thick enough could shield the cartel from America's steel hand. As dawn broke over the Durango mountains, only smoke and the acrid stench of burning remained drifting across the jungle like a scar. SEAL Team 6 had already withdrawn, leaving behind a smoldering mountain, a brutal reminder that anyone who dares to build a machine of death on this soil will face the same fate. Operation Hammer was more than an assault. It was a message written in fire, steel, and silence. For the nearby villagers, the earth had trembled like an earthquake before a mountain collapsed in flames. They never saw the details, but rumors spread quickly that the Sinaloa cartel's most ambitious fentanyl laboratory had been erased in a single night. In Mexico City's panic rippled through cartel circles. Supporters went quiet, rivals stared in disbelief, and the once untouchable power of Los Chapitos seemed to vanish in minutes. In Washington, the Pentagon issued only a brief statement that any attempt to flood the United States with drugs would carry a price. Across the underground market, the impact was immediate. Street prices spiked, distribution networks fractured, and cartel leaders ordered their men into hiding. Yet beyond the financial loss, the true blow was psychological, the reminder that nowhere is safe. A lab buried beneath rock, guarded by hundreds of gunmen, fortified with machine guns, mines, and electronic jamming systems, was annihilated in one strike. Mexico's government, torn between sovereignty concerns and relief, quietly acknowledged that a catastrophe had been prevented before millions of lethal doses reached the streets. Around the world, military analysts praised the mission's precision. No civilian casualties, no leaks, and no prolonged battle, just a swift and decisive strike. On dark web forums, traffickers and mercenaries asked in fear if Durango wasn't safe, then where could be. For the United States, Operation Hammer was more than a tactical success. It was a declaration. The destruction of the superlab proved that America's reach is global, its response immediate, and its power absolute. This was not a drawn-out campaign, nor a war of attrition, but a single coordinated blow. From the moment an MQ-9 Reaper tracked the convoy of precursors to the second AB-2 Spirit released its 5,000-pound bunker buster, less than one night had passed. What might have taken months was ended in hours. What made the strike historic was not only firepower but flawless coordination. SEAL Team 6 infiltrated undetected and sealed the kill box. F-35s neutralized anti-air defenses with surgical precision, and above it all the B-2 Spirit delivered the final strike, its stealth form invisible until the mountain itself erupted. It was a demonstration of unmatched precision and overwhelming might. For Americans, the lesson was clear: the threat of synthetic drugs and transnational crime cannot be underestimated, and millions of deadly doses were buried under stone and fire because of decisive military action. For U.S. leaders, Operation Hammer underscored the hard truth that while diplomacy and law are vital, sometimes only force can safeguard the nation. And for America's enemies, the warning could not be clearer: no mountain is too deep, no fortress too strong, no base too remote. When the steel hammer falls, it brings silence, fire, and finality. Operation Hammer in Durango proved that when America's security is threatened, its military can reach anywhere, strike with precision, and vanish without a trace. This was not retaliation, it was a promise to protect the nation at all costs.